Hi friends, it's Michelle from Quimby Cottage Knits. I'm coming to you today from a sunny Michigan and it's March, so yay. I don't know about you all, but I always feel like March is when spring should start. Unfortunately, not always does the weather cooperate, but today it really actually feels like spring and I'm glad of it. I mean, it's a little cool out, but it's fine. Yay, right? Yay. Now, remember, I live in Michigan, and last year I went up to the cottage and it snowed on Mother's Day, which I think was the 8th of May. So let's remember that we need to temper our enthusiasm or we'll be disappointed. So I am MK Hansen on Ravelry and Quimby Cottage on Instagram, and I'm so glad you're here today. If you're new, hooray, thanks for coming. And if you have been sticking it out with me for even one other time, thank you. Thank you. I thought I would get on today and just talk kind of quickly and update you guys about what I've been doing and a few thoughts that I have. So let's get into it. First, I'm wearing my Hayward sweater. I've worn it several times before. This one's in Brooklyn tweed. I did a lining. I did this edging here. I did that same edging here. And then this has a folded hem. And I did the inside of the fold, that other color too. It doesn't call for that, but I just thought it was fancy. And I decided I wanted to be fancy. And I'm the boss of this knitting. I wear this top a lot. I should make another. Maybe Brooklyn tweed has so many great colors. This is made in Loft and it's knit to a 20 stitch gauge. So it's really lightweight, which is perfect for me because my leggings are fleece lined today and I didn't want to be overheated. I do the office in our house downstairs. Mr. and I share an office and it faces south and we have some big windows there. So on a sunny day, you can literally melt in there, even if it's like in the negative degree temperatures. The second the sun goes down, you'll freeze your can off. It's unbelievable. So anyway, I'm wearing this like in an effort to kind of temper my temperature. I have those moments where I go through a personal summer. I love this. I noticed that Melissa, I think of a Spas Tricot, made one of these in linen. I keep threatening to do that. Maybe someday I will. I love it. I think it's great. And it's especially nice for anyone who's discovered that they're A-line shape since COVID happened, which I don't know if I definitely have an A-line shape. It's really, they say you look like an apple. I totally look like an apple or sort of a potato. But that's fine. I'm okay with it because these strong legs take me everywhere I need them to go. So there's that. That's what I'm wearing. Hayward by Julia Hoover. Let's talk about what I finished. I finished 2 things that I immediately mailed off as gifts. So I'm going to talk about them. One was I finished the striped pair of socks that I was working on with the pink cuff and heel and toe. I think they look great. They're just a vanilla sock, and I mailed them off as a gift. The second thing I finished was the October hat. I don't remember who designed it, but I'll tell you here. And I really liked knitting it. I chose Plymouth Homestead yarn, which is an Aran weight. It's pretty affordable. I found it in one of the yarn stores that I traveled to. And it was a nice yarn. And the heather colorway, I don't remember the name of the color, but it's sort of like a plum color and it was a heather. And I think it's a really nice affordable yarn. So if you're looking for something like that, I recommend Plymouth Homestead. It is an Aran weight. And I knit a hat for my good friend Sue and mailed it off to her for her birthday. So here's the drama with Sue. She always has told me in the past that her head is small. So I measured her around here and we measure almost the same. I think my head is about maybe a half an inch bigger around this way than hers is. And I was like, you don't have a small head. And she was like, no, but maybe it's small from here to here. And so sure enough, I measured her from here to here. And then I knit a hat that fit her from there to there. And I think she's really happy with it. So I'll put a picture in for you so you can see what that looked like. But I recommend the pattern. It was pretty easy. It went pretty quickly. I made the cuff really long. It looks weird when it's just sitting down, but it looks really nice on. I made it so that it can flip up and be the right, crown, but also the whole pattern shows and then the ribbing there. So it's doubled over in the ribbing. It looks good. So I'm pleased with the way those 2 things turned out. That's all I finished. So let's talk about what I'm working on. I made Sabine, you'll remember, a pair of socks, this Burberry sock, and I weighed my yarn and I had just enough left over to make a shorty pair. I've never made shorty socks before. So I'm kind of winging it. I think Natalie of Remembrance Pottery told me that she thinks that for her socks to fit, she needs about 2 inches above, I think she said 2 inches. I should have double checked with her. I feel like we had a conversation where she said 2 inches above the heel flap. So that's what I did. At first I was going to go the whole heel flap right into that, but then I don't know, I got tired of knitting the cuff. And so I started, look at my ladders right here from, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I knit just a little bit and then I went into the heel. So first of all, when you knit a shorty sock, you go almost to the heel. So yay, they go really fast. I'm still in the decreases. When I'm done with the decreases, I'm going to try it on. I have a pair of socks store-bought, which I wear in the summertime. I only wear store-bought socks in the summer, and they're always athletic. But I'm prone, okay, so here I go. Now I'm going to tell you everything. You already know about my melasma. I also am prone to plantar fasciitis. Yes, that's true. So I bought these socks I also have a pet peeve. I don't like it when my socks slide off my heel and then into my shoe or my boot. It makes me wild. I literally have no patience. I have to stop instantly like a child and fix it. I can't deal with that discomfort. So I bought these socks that are for plantar fasciitis and they have support in them. So where the arch of your heel, not the arch of your heel, where the arch of your foot is, there's like some ribbing. So it's really snug and offers support, arch support. They call it arch support. I don't know that my arches really feel supported per se, but it does keep the socks from shifting. So I'm going to try that on these too. I'll try them on and then see. And I think what I'll do is just a 1x1 rib for a bit, and copy my store-bought socks and then see what I think about this. But friends, if these turn out to be super cute and also like wearable, I might have to knit a lot of these too. Because how many, I counted the other day, I have 24 pairs of hand knit socks, which you might say, oh, that's probably enough. But I don't have enough at the cottage, I know for sure. I only have like 2 or 3 or not very many pairs. So I need to definitely stock up there. But if I'm going to wear these wool socks also in the summertime, and I can get a wool cotton blend, that's fine. I like that they're wool because then your feet don't stink. And they're comfortable, they breathe, all the wonderful, you all know all the wonderful qualities of wool. Anyway, I might go to that. If any of you have a wardrobe of shorty socks and you have opinions about how to knit them, weigh in the comments because I know that I need that. So I would be happy to hear what you have to advise me on, and that I'll be learning as I go, unless you teach me. So thanks in advance for that. Another thing I wanted to tell you about was the stocking, the baby stocking that I'm making for my cousin. Well, really, she's my husband's cousin. She's so cute. Anyway, the baby is supposed to be coming anytime now. It's March, and I finished the stocking sort of. This is the stocking. You can see it's quite large, but I can't knit the rest of this red cuff until I know the baby's name, because when you knit with a name like Michelle, where everything is above the line, that's fine. You know exactly. They said, I think it's 18 rows that I knit in order to accommodate those letters. But her name, for example, the mother's name is Margot. So the G hangs down. And so there needs to be more space down there. So I stopped knitting as the pattern said until I find out what the baby's name is. And then I will add more red if I need to, or I will move right into the next bit. So the next bit will be this little repeat right here, which is also down here at the toe. So I will knit this bit as well, and then do a turning row, and then you knit a bit down to fold it in. I think it's 4 inches. I think you knit this whole bit so that the cuff is kind of sturdy, and then a little I-cord so that it can hang. So this is how that looks. It's unblocked, so I still have to block it, but it's not done yet, and it's just to unhold, which is fine. I hope I don't forget to continue my enthusiasm for this, because even though it's looks done, you know that knitting this bit and then 4 more inches and then sewing it and then that and then doing the name, the little hook and the name could be a lot. And I hope I don't lose my enthusiasm for it, because I am eager to give it. So there's that. And I have plenty of the yarn left over for that. And then remember, I bought a bit more of this yarn because I have aspirations of doing some other Christmas ornaments, which I haven't started yet or even thought about, except to talk to you about it. So there's that. So those are 2 things that I'm working on. And I'm also working on this. Do you remember this? We talked about it. Had I started it last time? I can't remember. But, oh no. Hold on. There's a couple of stitches that have fallen off, and I feel like I have to get them on before I show you so they don't get lost. Look at this is my Koro Koro Shawl by Olga Jazzy, and I have loved knitting it. I will tell you, let's talk about it for a second. I started it down here, and so you start like this, and it's kind of a funny little start, and then this is like chart A, and then eventually you move to chart B, and once you're in chart B, you're just repeating chart B over and over and over again. I have to look at the pattern because I can't remember if the pattern says to knit 10 repeats plus your first repeat or 10 repeats. So I have to count and see. Also, I can't remember the yardage, but I put aside 3 balls of each color of Malabrigo. So I am now down to this much yarn from, this is the 3rd ball. So this is what's left. So I only have this far to go. It says it's going to be 77 inches tall from tip to cast off. Mine's not that tall because I'm 5'5" and it goes to, you know, about here on me. I'll put a picture in so you can see. So it's not as tall as I am, but I think it could block, it's definitely going to block bigger, right? Because this is Malabrigo Rios and it's superwash. So it's definitely going to stretch a little bit. And you can see this is unblocked, and I didn't steam it or anything for you. This is just how it is. So it has a lot of, sorry, let's move that. So it has a lot of stretch to it, like you'll see. And I don't plan on blocking it aggressively, I don't think. I'll see once it's wet what it looks like, but I feel like the weight of it might be enough to just relax it exactly how I want to. I don't want it to be flat. It's a dimensional fabric. I don't know if you see like how dimensional that is. It's a dimensional fabric, and that's one of the things I like about it. So I'm definitely not going to flatten it. I think part of the wonderfulness of it is this texture, but I do see how this, I don't know if you can tell, but the way you increase, it sort of almost waves a little bit. And I definitely want to straighten that out. And I think blocking will do it. So I'm really excited to have this mostly done. Let's talk about it for a second. First, I'm not too proud to admit to you that I was influenced by Amy Beth, the Fat Squirrel. She made a cowl in this pattern, and I had seen it before because I'm a fan of Olga Jazzy. I have not knit many of her patterns, a couple of her hat patterns only, I think. Oh, and Flet, which is a sweater that I've worn here for you before. That is by her, but I haven't knit a lot of her things. I have admired a lot of her things. And in fact, this Christmas, she had an Advent headband club, which I was mightily tempted by, but didn't do, but probably will do at least a couple of those in the future. Anyway, I was influenced by Amy Beth. I knew instantly that I wanted to make it. I had one of the yarns. I bought other yarn to complement it. So I already had, as a gift, I got this brownish yarn. Mr. Hansen came by to check on me because it's a pandemic and we're all here all the time. Anyway, I already had this brown yarn right here as a gift. My friend Ingrid gave that to me, which was great. And I thought that this orange yarn would go well with it, and look, it does. It's perfect. So I'm really glad to have this. I knew I wanted to make it. I knew it would be really, really fun to make, and it is. I wasn't really sure if it was something I would actually wear a lot, but it's heavy. Remember, in the end, it's going to be 6 3.5 ounce balls of yarn. So that's almost a pound. That's 14 ounces, right? No, It already is 14 ounces because 3.5 and 3.5, 7. So it already weighs 14 ounces. It's going to be over a pound. It's going to be over a pound. So this is going to be really warm. I don't know. I mean, I don't like bundle up and go outside like the girls in pictures do. I mean, I do bundle up and go outside, but usually I'm like working, walking, where I create my own heat. And this kind of item wouldn't be useful to me in that way. Plus, I wear a big puffer coat, etc., etc. But it occurred to me that it would be good to have at the cottage just to wear around my shoulders as an extra layer of warmth when I am there in the early spring and in the fall, because it does get cold there. So I think I'm going to bring it to that for that use. Also, can I just say this? You guys know that I did the fair, the county fair, a couple years ago. Last year it was canceled. And I have a beautiful shawl that I'm excited to put in the county fair for this year. But I sort of think this could be a blue ribbon shawl. What do you think? So I don't want to take out the one that I made last time. I thought there was a piece of fuzz on this. I don't want to take out the one that I made last time and put this in instead. But when you join the fair, there's certain categories that you're allowed to apply in. And I think there's one called large item, which I think this could fit in too. So I think I might, if they have the fair this year, it's in August. If they have the fair, I think I might put this in, and maybe it could be a blue ribbon shawl. So there's one thing I wanted to show you. I was a little greedy with the yarn, and I was really eager to use it, and I didn't want to cut it. Probably some of you are going to think it's silly, but I didn't want to cut the end. And there was a little blip of white, and I left it. I just sort of like the imperfection of that. I don't know. I could have cut it and left it and taken it out, and then you wouldn't see it. And if it bothers me, I can always go over it with an orange Sharpie. But there was this small piece of me that this little imperfection kind of appealed to. I don't know. I guess because I'm so imperfect. I don't know. It just kind of stuck with me. So Koro Koro, highly recommend. Influenced by Amy Beth. So that's on the needle. That's on the needle. That's on the needle. That's all I have on the needle. Let's talk about a couple of other things. I don't know if you know this. My experience of working in some yarn stores is that I sometimes am asked to do finishing work, which I am happy to do, although I don't advertise it. People who know that I do that sometimes will ask me if I can do something for them, and I usually say yes. So a friend of mine sent me a sock that had a hole in it. Oh my gosh, would you believe this? I have to show you guys something else I just found. So it had a hole in it, like maybe some moths got it. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Definitely some moths got it. Because, so, sorry, these are my readers, and they're like the blue blocker readers, and I like them a lot. And I need them to see close up. So she sent me a sock that had a hole in the ribbing, and she, poor thing, had not even really gotten a chance to wear them yet. So I mended that hole in the ribbing. It was a little bit difficult for me to do because I still haven't figured out exactly how to create pearls. I mean, it literally, the hole, there's a row of knitting, a row of purl that's just disappeared, and then a row of knitting, and maybe another half row of purl that's also just disappeared. So it's kind of difficult to see what I need to do, but I did mend it. So here's the mend. Not bad, right? I mean, there literally was a big hole there. So I think that that's not bad. But as I was sitting here talking to you all, I left this marker in here so that I could show it to you. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you're looking at it, but I just wanted to be able to go right to it. But now I have to move it because as I was talking to you, I was looking at the foot of the sock. And would you believe that there's kind of another hole here? This will be a really easy duplicate stitch fix. But like, can you see that? Like, I don't want to fiddle with it too much because I don't want, but see, that's a hole definitely right there. And you can see that there's a fray there and maybe something right here as well. So I'm going to have to give this some attention. I'm so glad I almost mailed this out to her today. I'm so glad that I saved it to show you because I would have missed that. And then poor thing, she would have been so frustrated. So anyway, I have to fix that for her now too. So I'm going to give these a little bit more attention before I ship them back. Yay on that, right? I was talking to another friend today and we were talking about knitting in community and why is that important? And for some people, maybe it's not, but it is for me. And since you're now my community. So thanks for showing up because this is really important to me. But one of the nice things about knitting in community is that you have people who appreciate your knitting, right? That's why we kind of want to do it in part because we want people to see what we've done. And then over time, they can see how far we've come as far as our skills go. So I wanted to show you how far I've come in some things. So I knitted this scarf for Mr. Hansen a number of years ago. And you can see, first of all, this is the end of it. Can you see that this is the end of one end and this is the end of the other? It's been blocked, friends. Like I blocked it a couple of times. Blocked it when I first gave it to him, but then I went back and blocked it again because it's cabled. Can you see the cables? See that? Like maybe if I see those cables. So this is a Malabrigo color. I forget the name, but ironically, it doesn't matter where I am. Whenever Mr. Hansen sees this color, he likes it. It's sort of I would call it a murky man color, but it's really sort of a green black, which is not really that fun to knit, but he has a hat that matches this. And whenever he sees that yarn, he says, oh, I like that color, which I think is really funny. I hardly knit for him because he runs pretty hot most of the time, so he doesn't wear it. But anyway, I wanted to show you that, first of all, probably this is where I cast on. It's not. This is where I cast off, so I was getting looser as I went on. But anyway, I thought you'd want to see that you can see that they're not the same, right? Yeah, that's right. This is where I cast off. But also, look, all these miles of cables. Look at. And then there's this one mistake. Look. And I probably didn't see it when I first made it. Can you see it? Let's see. Okay. You see how the cable twists, and then here, what happened? I mean, I actually know what happened. I crossed it the wrong way. But like, who does that? When all these, this is so easy. All the cables go this way. They're left cross all the way, left. Which makes me think actually that, yeah, they're left cross all the way. I don't know. Anyway, this is like in the middle of the scarf. So look, here's the end. Here's the middle. And then here's where that mistake is. I want to get rid of it and make a new one, but he likes it. Like, can you see my whole body just went when that happened? He says he likes it, so I just have to get over it. But whenever I see that mistake, I'm just like, ugh. And you know what? I think probably when I made the mistake, I probably knew something was wrong, but I couldn't have recognized what it was. It was that long ago. I probably knew it was off, but couldn't tell you what was wrong with it. Just kept looking at it and thinking, that's not right. But then didn't know what was wrong. Today, I would know what's wrong. I do not want to rip this back and fix it. I just want to get rid of it and move on, but there you go. And also, these are my old tags. Look at how old this is. These tags. Look how huge the tag is, first of all. And then he likes for me to label everything with my tag. He's so proud of it. He's so cute. So anyway, this is my old tag, right? And you see my new ones are small. And some people have even smaller ones than that, which kind of the smaller they are, the cooler I think they are. But that's probably just a trend. Probably I'll be fine. I'm using up the ones I have before I get any others. So there's a couple more things I want to talk about you knitting related. Our aunt passed away. Oh, my husband's aunt passed away almost 2 years ago, or maybe it has been 2 years already. Anyway, Uncle Phil is older, in his 80s, and we worry about him because he lives by himself, and we just have to check on him. But he does have some caregivers who stop in. He's fully lucid. He's totally independent, but he has some caregivers that come in for company and just to make sure that he doesn't need anything. And he doesn't do anything dangerous like mop his own floor or something. Anyway, he was fondly speaking of one of his caregivers the other day, and I realized I think she would really like something knit. So I'm gonna make a cowl for her, and it's called Gateway to Rustic, Espace Tricot, and let's talk about it. So I think I'm gonna use this as the outline. Which this yarn is called Cash Wool. It's by Katya. It's called Katya Concept, and it's wool and nylon blend. It actually feels really nice, and I probably would have made it into socks or maybe a hat. But now that I have this in my mind, it's going to be this. This was a gift. So when I knit it up, I'll let you know how I like it. But it feels super squishy and really nice right now, so I can totally see why somebody might want to use it. I don't remember what this is. I found it in my stash. It's going to be the speckle yarn inside the boxes of the concept or the pattern. And then the pattern says that they use an entire ball of Shibui Silk Cloud. I have this ball. First of all, you're supposed to carry it doubled, so I'm going to have to rewind this with my ball winder. This is 9.95 of a ball, but I'm just going to go for it, and we're going to see how I do. So these three things. And I think that that'll be a nice gift for Uncle Phil's caregiver. And feel pretty good that it's all out of stash and this is leftover. So we'll see how it goes. I might have to switch this to a different yarn. If it really does use a full ball, I have a full ball of a pale gray, almost white. It's a pale gray. I can't remember the name of the color. It's like stone or something. Anyway, I could use that instead, but I really would like to use this color just for fun because it's on the inside. And that's going to be a future project. And then a couple more quick things. One, I've been listening to the Clothes Horse podcast, which talks about fabric and fast fashion and the choices that they make and all of that. So that's been really fascinating to me. I like it because it challenges me to think about my own purchases, my own habits, what I need, what I don't need, just broadens my thought process a little bit more about clothes. And I already don't have a lot of clothes. I do have a lot of hand knit sweaters, but I don't have a lot of clothes. I don't typically buy a lot of clothes. And in fact, I wanted to show you, I have a pair of jeans and I have mended them several times. So this is the pocket and it was wearing badly here and there was a hole here because I like to put this is the left-hand pocket and I like to put my cell phone in that pocket so it wears more than anything else. So you can see I've patched it and then the butt was wearing out on these jeans. So I've patched those quite a bit. And you can see like even the inside. And I finally I just decided that I was done patching these. They looked terrible. They were starting to wear outside of the patch. See, like the patch went to here and then they started wearing out. And then I got a hole in the knee and I look like a ragamuffin in patched things. You know, some people look super cute and like, I don't know, edgy or whatever. I just look like a hobo. And yet I still sometimes keep patched jeans because, you know, you need them sometimes. But that was for reference. That was my only pair of jeans for probably 6 years. So I don't also have a bunch of pairs of jeans. I have that pair. And then I have a pair that I leave at the cottage for gardening. So I don't know if you count those or not. I would count them as work clothes. But what I did was I cut all the legs out of those jeans so that I can use them for future patching. So I got that idea from the Clothes Horse, and I thought that would be a great way to tell you about how I'm, working towards, let's be honest, this much fabric for patching jeans. I cut out the parts in the knees that were holy and around it, but still that's quite a bit of patch fabric, so I'm doing that. One other thing I wanted to tell you about was I last week watched on Instagram the boot camp for Olive and June. I didn't buy the Olive and June stuff. Not because it's probably not great, but I know that I've mentioned to you all before that Mr. Hansen is unemployed and he's been our breadwinner for a while. So he's been unemployed for over 2 years now, and we are very careful to think about what is a need and what is a want. And Olive and June is not something I need, so I didn't buy it. But I do have nail polish at home, and a trick to a better manicure I thought was a great thing to do. So I did watch them most of last week. I made an effort to watch them. And I just have to tell you some of the tricks I learned. Number 1, do not wash your hands when you're in the middle of a manicure. Do you guys do that? I totally do that. You file, you moisturize, then you wash your hands, and then you paint, and then they always chip. They always chip. Do yours chip? Mine chip. I work with my hands all the time. I mop my own floors, I clean my own bathrooms, I do my own dishes, I do my own cooking, I do my own gardening, and I am not careful or delicate or a lady in any way. So I've never been the kind of person that gets regular manicures because they chip instantly, which always makes me mad. I definitely wouldn't pay for one because they chip instantly, and that makes me mad. But I do like the way, when I admire women who have polished nails, I think that they're that polish. It's called polish for a reason, right? It just makes you look a little bit more polished and a little more put together. So I like that look and I like that feel of that, but I just generally can't manage it. But I decided to commit to it last week with Olive and June and their little boot camp, and look what I did. And this is this is more than 7 days old. This is an 8-day manicure, friends, right here. Look, no chips. Now there's a little wear, and this is not Olive and June polish. This is Essie polish, but there's a little wear at the fingertips. And these nails, see how long they are? They're so long. And I did cut them before, but like now that they're just so long. So I definitely have to redo this today. I was thinking about doing it earlier this morning, but I wanted to wait until I talked to you first because I wanted to show you. So no washing of your hands, just do it the way they tell you. So that's the first trick. The second trick is, they said hydration is layered. So you have to remember to use your cuticle oil on a regular basis. So I've always been the person that takes the little nippers out and nips around the cuticles. When I say all this, you know I've been haphazardly doing it, or else we would have talked about it before. Anyway, when I do my nails, I would, carefully go around and nip all that. And then I would always end up with all these hangnails, and my nails would look terrible. You're supposed to hydrate your nails, especially right now with hand washing and cold weather and whatever else, at least twice a day with your cuticle oil. You know how often I was doing it? If I remembered, once a week. So I put my cuticle oil on my desk, and now in the morning when I sit down, I do it, and then later in the afternoon, I will do it again. And look at my cuticles. Look at how much better well, I wish I had shown you before, but I didn't. But just trust me, they look so much better. Look at how much better they look. So much better. So I learned, don't wash your hands. I learned moisturize your cuticles. And then I learned don't use those nippers. You just need to use like a little kind of nail buffer file thing, which I already had in my cupboard. So you just kind of buff the cuticles, the dry parts, and then they come right off, and then there you go. So back to fashion and beauty, friends. I feel a little bit like a beauty correspondent. Those tricks just made all the difference in my manicure. So I went, oh, and there's one more trick. Every 2 to 3 days, you're supposed to reapply your top coat. So I reapplied this after 3 days, and I have not reapplied it again because I know I have to take it off because I have to cut these. But still, what a great trick to know. So you can watch all of the Olive June boot camps when they have them, but if you don't want to, you can just take the tips from me. So I'll tell them one more time. Ready? Don't wash your hands when you're doing your manicure. Don't use those nipper things on your hands. Just buff your cuticles with like a little buffer square. Hydrate your cuticles at least twice a day and reapply your top coat. Friends, if nails make you feel put together too, that's a small thing. So that's it. Mr. Hansen is super eager to go to the grocery. So that's where we're headed next. And I hope that you all are having good knitting, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.